She didn't know I was recording everything. My name is Jordan, and I'm 29 years old. I work as a project coordinator at Horizon Tech Solutions, managing client accounts and keeping projects on schedule. The pay is decent, enough to cover my apartment and student loans with a little left over. I'd been there for 4 years, worked my way up from assistant, earned every promotion through late nights and weekend calls. Then Vanessa arrived 6 months ago. Hired as a senior coordinator, same level as me, but she acted like she owned the building. From day one, she made it clear she wanted my position, my clients, my reputation. Last Tuesday, I sat in my manager's office while he read allegations against me. Falsified reports, missed deadlines, unprofessional conduct with clients. My stomach dropped as he listed each accusation. Vanessa had submitted a formal complaint, backed by what she claimed was evidence. Mr. Parker, our department head, looked uncomfortable. He'd always supported my work, but now doubt clouded his expression. I need to investigate this thoroughly, he said. You're suspended pending review. 2 weeks, paid while we sort this out. I walked out of his office in shock. Vanessa stood near the coffee machine, watching. Our eyes met. She smiled. The thing was, I'd seen this coming. Not the specific accusations, but the pattern. Vanessa had been building towards something for months. It started small. Comments in meetings about my methods being outdated. Questions about whether I'd actually completed tasks I'd finished days earlier. Casual mentions to supervisors that she'd had to fix my mistakes. I'd documented everything in a personal folder on my home computer. Every email, every meeting note, every project milestone with timestamps. My dad taught me that lesson. He'd been a union factory worker for 30 years, saw plenty of workplace politics. Keep records, Jordan. Always keep records. Nobody can argue with documentation. So I did. Every suspicious interaction with Vanessa went into my files. When she claimed in March that I'd missed a client deadline, I had the email showing I'd submitted everything 2 days early. When she told Mr. Parker in April that I'd skipped a team meeting, I had the calendar invite showing it had been rescheduled without notifying me. But I'd never confronted her directly. Just quietly built my evidence file and hoped it wouldn't be necessary. Now, suspended and facing potential termination, I was glad I'd been paranoid. I spent the first day of suspension in my apartment, angry and restless. Called my best friend Tyler around noon. He worked in IT at a different company, understood office drama. Jordan, this is serious, he said after I explained everything. If they believe her accusations, you could lose your job and your reputation. Other companies check references. Yeah. I stared at my laptop on the coffee table. But I have documentation. 4 years of perfect performance reviews, client testimonials, project completion records. That helps, but you need more. You need to prove she's lying, not just that you're good at your job. He was right. Defense wasn't enough. I needed offense. That evening, I opened my evidence folder and started building a timeline. March 12th, Vanessa claims I missed the Henderson account deadline. My records show submission on March 10th. April 3rd, she reports I skipped the strategy meeting. Calendar shows the meeting was moved without my notification. May 18th, she tells Mr. Parker I submitted incorrect budget figures. My version matches the client's approved numbers exactly. Her version, which she claimed to have corrected, actually contained errors. Pattern after pattern emerged. Vanessa wasn't just undermining me randomly. She was systematically creating a false narrative of incompetence. Day 2 of suspension, I drove to a coffee shop across town where nobody from work would see me. Ordered a large black coffee and opened my laptop at a corner table. I needed to understand Vanessa's strategy completely. What was her endgame? I pulled up the company directory and started researching. Vanessa Crawford, hired January 15th, Senior Project Coordinator. Before Horizon Tech, she'd worked at Pinnacle Systems for 2 years, left for reasons not listed. Before that, Westfield Industries for 18 months. I opened LinkedIn and searched her profile. Her work history matched what she'd told our team, but something felt incomplete. I clicked through to Pinnacle Systems company page and started looking at employee profiles. Found 3 former colleagues who'd overlapped with Vanessa's time there. Sent careful messages to each. Hi, I'm a colleague of Vanessa Crawford at Horizon Tech. We're working on a project together and I wanted to get perspective on collaboration styles. Would you be willing to chat briefly? 2 didn't respond. The third, a woman named Stephanie, replied within an hour. Call me. She included her number. I stepped outside the coffee shop and dialed. Stephanie answered immediately. You're working with Vanessa? Her tone carried warning. Be careful. She tried the same thing at Pinnacle that she's probably trying with you. Stephanie talked for 20 minutes. I took notes on my phone, hand shaking slightly as the story unfolded. Vanessa had targeted a senior coordinator at Pinnacle, a guy named Brian who'd been there for 5 years. Started with small undermining comments, escalated to formal complaints, eventually got him fired for alleged misconduct. 2 months later, Vanessa got his position and his accounts. But Brian fought back. Stephanie continued. Hired a lawyer, demanded an investigation. Turned out Vanessa had falsified some of the evidence against him. The company settled quietly, gave Brian a reference and severance. Vanessa left before they could fire her. What happened to Brian? I asked. He's fine now, working at another firm. But it damaged him, took months to recover professionally. Stephanie paused. If she's doing this to you, document everything. Get ahead of it before she destroys your reputation. I thanked her and hung up. Sat in my car in the parking lot, processing. Vanessa had done this before. This was her pattern. Target someone, destroy them, take their position. Professional predator behavior. And I'd been too naive to see it clearly until now. That evening, I contacted Brian through LinkedIn. Explained my situation carefully, mentioned Stephanie's referral. He responded the next morning. Want to talk? I called him during my morning coffee. Brian was direct, bitter but helpful. She'll have fabricated evidence, he said. Emails that look real but are slightly altered, conversations taken out of context, maybe even forged client complaints. At Pinnacle, she'd created a fake email chain that made it look like I'd insulted a client. How did you prove it was fake? I spent $3,000 on a digital forensics expert. He analyzed the email metadata and proved it had been created on Vanessa's computer, not sent through the company server like a real email would be. That's what finally turned the case. Do you still have that expert's contact information? I do. I'll send it. But Jordan, be prepared. This gets expensive and exhausting. Even when I won, the damage to my reputation at Pinnacle was done. I had to leave. I know, I said quietly, but I'm not leaving without a fight. But don't let her win. After we hung up, I received an email with the forensics expert's information. Calvin Hughes, digital forensics specialist. I saved the contact, knowing I'd probably need it. Day 4 of suspension, Mr. Parker called. Jordan, we need to meet. I've reviewed Vanessa's complaint in detail. Can you come to the office tomorrow morning? There are some questions. Of course. Time, 8 o'clock. And Jordan, bring any documentation you have regarding the projects mentioned in the complaint. I'll have everything ready. I spent that entire day organizing my evidence. Created a binder with printed emails, project timelines, client correspondence. Everything chronological, indexed, highlighted. Tyler came over that evening to help me prepare. You need to be strategic about this, he said, reviewing my materials. Don't just defend yourself. Show the pattern of her lies. I pulled up my timeline document. March through July, 14 separate incidents where Vanessa made false claims about my work. For each one, I have proof she was lying. Show Parker that. Make him see this isn't about 1 or 2 misunderstandings. It's systematic. We rehearsed potential questions until midnight. Tyler played Mr. Parker, throwing hard questions at me. How do you explain this discrepancy? Why would Vanessa lie about something so specific? What proof do you have beyond your own records? I answered each one calmly, referencing my documentation. By the end, I felt ready. Tomorrow would determine everything. The office felt strange at 8 in the morning. Most staff hadn't arrived yet. I walked past my empty desk, binder under my arm, and knocked on Mr. Parker's door. Come in. He sat behind his desk, looking tired. Vanessa sat in the chair to his right. My stomach tightened. I hadn't expected her to be here. Jordan, thanks for coming. Please sit. He gestured to the other chair. I want us to discuss these allegations directly, see if we can clarify some points. I sat down, set my binder on my lap. Vanessa avoided looking at me. Mr. Parker opened a folder on his desk. Let's start with the Henderson account. Vanessa claims you missed the March deadline, forcing her to complete the work herself. Can you address that? I opened my binder to the first tab. I submitted the Henderson deliverables on March 10th, 2 days before the deadline. Here's the submission confirmation email with timestamp. I slid a copy across his desk. Vanessa shifted in her chair. Mr. Parker read the email, frowned. Vanessa, you said the work wasn't submitted until you completed it on March 14th. I have the files I submitted, she said quickly. They were incomplete. I had to finish them. I pulled out another document. Here's the email from Henderson's project manager, received March 11th, thanking me for the complete submission and noting that everything was perfect. If the work was incomplete, why would their manager say this? Mr. Parker read the email. His expression shifted. Vanessa, do you have the incomplete files you mentioned? I can get them. Her voice had lost confidence. Let's continue. Parker looked at his notes. In April, you allegedly missed the strategy meeting. Vanessa reported you as absent without notification. I was never notified the meeting was rescheduled. I turned to another tab. Here's the original calendar invite for April 3rd at 2 o'clock. I cleared my schedule and was available. The meeting was moved to April 5th at 10 o'clock. Here's the updated invite, sent only to certain team members. My name isn't on the recipient list. Mr. Parker studied the emails. His jaw tightened slightly. Vanessa, did you send the rescheduling notice? I thought everyone was copied, she said. It must have been an oversight. I continued through my binder. The budget discrepancy in May. The missed phone call in June that I had phone records proving I'd answered. The client complaint in July that the client himself had denied making. Each piece of evidence dismantled another of Vanessa's accusations. By the time I finished, Mr. Parker's expression had gone from concern to something colder. Vanessa, I need you to step out for a moment. Mr. Parker's voice was controlled. Wait in the conference room. She stood quickly, walked out without looking at either of us. The door clicked shut. Mr. Parker leaned back in his chair. Jordan, this is very troubling. The evidence you've presented directly contradicts everything in Vanessa's complaint. I stayed quiet, let him process. He flipped through my documents again. Have you had other issues with Vanessa? Concerns you didn't report? I hesitated, then decided to share everything. I pulled out my timeline. For 6 months, she's been making false claims about my work. Small things at first, easy to dismiss as misunderstandings. But the pattern is clear. She's systematically trying to damage my reputation. Why didn't you come to me sooner? Because I wasn't sure how it would look. One person's word against another's. I needed proof first. He studied the timeline, seeing months of documented incidents. I also need to tell you something else. I explained my conversations with Stephanie and Brian, Vanessa's history at Pinnacle Systems. Parker's face darkened. You're saying she's done this before? She targets successful employees, undermines them, takes their position when they're forced out. Mr. Parker stood, walked to his window. Give me until tomorrow. Don't discuss this with anyone yet. I left the office shaking. Not from fear, from adrenaline. The meeting had gone better than I'd hoped. Parker had seen the evidence, recognized the pattern. But I wasn't naive enough to think this was over. Vanessa would fight back somehow. That afternoon, I received an email from Human Resources. Please schedule a meeting with me at your earliest convenience regarding your employment status. Eleanor Martinez, HR Director. I called immediately. Miss Martinez, this is Jordan. I received your email. Can we meet this afternoon? How about 3 o'clock? I'll be there. I spent the next 2 hours preparing. If HR was getting involved, this was escalating beyond a simple manager-employee dispute. This was becoming an official company investigation. At 3 o'clock, I sat across from Eleanor in her office. She was professional, direct. Jordan, I've been briefed on the situation with Vanessa Crawford. Mr. Parker has asked me to conduct a formal investigation into her allegations and your counter-evidence. I understand. What do you need from me? Everything you have. All documentation, all correspondence, any witnesses who can verify your account. I need to build a complete picture. I handed over copies of my entire binder. Is there anything else I should know? I mentioned Vanessa's history at Pinnacle Systems, gave her Stephanie and Brian's contact information. Eleanor made notes. This is helpful. I'll need a few days to review everything and conduct interviews. The next morning, Tyler called. Jordan, you need to see this. Vanessa posted something on social media. My chest tightened. What kind of something? He read it to me. Dealing with workplace harassment and retaliation. It's hard when you try to do the right thing and report misconduct, only to face attacks on your character. Grateful for friends and family supporting me through this difficult time. She's playing victim publicly. Tyler's voice carried anger, making it look like you're retaliating against her for reporting you. I felt cold. Strategic move. If I'm vindicated, she can claim she was persecuted for speaking up. If I'm fired, she's already built public sympathy. What should I do? Nothing publicly. Don't engage. But screenshot everything she posts. If this becomes legal, her public statements could be evidence. I spent the afternoon monitoring Vanessa's social media. She'd posted on 3 platforms, same message each time. Comments flooded in with support. So sorry you're going through this. Workplaces need to protect whistleblowers. Stay strong. Nobody knew the truth. They saw a woman facing workplace difficulties and assumed she was the victim. The irony burned. But Tyler was right. Engaging publicly would only make things worse. I had to trust the investigation process. Friday afternoon, 1 week into my suspension, Eleanor called. Jordan, can you come to the office Monday morning? We need to discuss the investigation findings. 10 o'clock, Mr. Parker's office. I'll be there. Is that good or bad? I can't say more right now. See you Monday. The weekend dragged. I tried to distract myself with movies, cleaning my apartment, anything to stop obsessing about Monday's meeting. Tyler came over Sunday evening with pizza. Whatever happens tomorrow, you did everything right, he said. You documented, you stayed professional, you told the truth. That has to count for something. I hope so. But even if they believe me, the damage is done. Everyone at work has heard Vanessa's version. They've seen her social media posts. My reputation is trashed either way. Not if the truth comes out clearly. Parker needs to make a public statement, clear your name officially. Otherwise, yeah, you're right. The rumors will stick. We ate pizza and watched basketball, but my mind stayed fixed on tomorrow. 10 o'clock. Everything decided. Monday morning, I dressed in my best suit. Professional armor. Arrived at the office at 9:45. The receptionist smiled sympathetically. She'd clearly heard something. Mr. Parker is expecting you. Go right in. Mr. Parker and Eleanor sat at the conference table. No Vanessa this time. Jordan, please sit. Eleanor gestured to a chair. We've completed our investigation. I want to walk you through our findings. She opened a thick folder. We reviewed all documentation you provided, interviewed 6 colleagues, and examined company server records for the projects in question. Every single allegation Vanessa made was demonstrably false. My shoulders relaxed slightly. Furthermore, Eleanor continued, our IT department analyzed several emails Vanessa submitted as evidence. 2 were altered. The metadata shows they were modified after the original send date. She falsified evidence? Correct. We also spoke with her previous employer, Pinnacle Systems. They confirmed she was asked to resign after similar accusations. Mr. Parker leaned forward. Jordan, I owe you an apology. I should have investigated more thoroughly before suspending you. The evidence was compelling on its face, but I should have given you the benefit of the doubt based on your track record. What happens now? I asked. Vanessa's employment is terminated effective immediately, Eleanor said. We're providing you with a formal letter clearing you of all allegations. It will be placed in your personnel file, and we'll provide copies for your records. We're also prepared to discuss compensation for the stress this caused. The meeting lasted another 30 minutes. They outlined next steps, offered 2 weeks additional paid leave to recover, assured me my position was secure. When I finally left the conference room, my hands were shaking. Not from fear anymore. From relief. From vindication. From the weight of 7 days of uncertainty lifting all at once. I walked past Vanessa's desk. Empty. Her computer was gone, personal items cleared out. Someone from HR must have handled it over the weekend, anticipating today's outcome. My desk looked exactly as I'd left it. Coffee mug, framed photo of my parents, sticky notes with project reminders. Normal. I sat down and logged into my computer. 63 emails waited. Most were from colleagues who'd heard about the suspension and wanted to offer support. I started reading, felt gratitude building. These people knew me, knew my work. They doubted the accusations even when official investigations were pending. Tyler's text came through around 11. It's over. She's fired. I'm cleared. Coming back to work today. Holy hell. Drinks tonight. We're celebrating. Around noon, Mr. Parker sent a company-wide email. Team, I want to address a recent personnel matter. Jordan Mitchell was recently suspended pending investigation of workplace allegations. That investigation has concluded. All allegations were false. Jordan is fully cleared and returning to work immediately. Please join me in welcoming them back. The responses came quickly. Colleagues stopped by my desk throughout the afternoon. Glad you're back. We knew something wasn't right. Sorry you had to go through that. Each conversation helped rebuild what Vanessa had tried to destroy. But I noticed some people avoided eye contact, stayed distant. The damage wasn't completely undone. Some would always wonder if there was truth to the accusations, even with official clearance. That bothered me more than I wanted to admit. Tuesday morning, I met with Eleanor again. Jordan, there's something else we need to discuss. Vanessa has hired an attorney. She's claiming wrongful termination. My stomach dropped. On what grounds? She claims she was fired in retaliation for reporting legitimate workplace concerns. Her lawyer sent a letter yesterday demanding reinstatement and compensation. But you have proof she lied. Fabricated evidence. Yes, and we'll present that in our defense. However, I wanted you to know this might not be completely over. She may try to involve you directly in her legal claims. What should I do? Refer any contact from her or her attorney to me immediately. Don't engage. Document everything. And Jordan, consider consulting with your own attorney, just as a precaution. I left her office feeling sick. Victory had been brief. Now we were entering a new phase. I called Brian that evening. When I explained Vanessa was fighting back legally, he laughed bitterly. Of course she is. Same thing happened at Pinnacle. She claimed retaliation, discrimination, hostile work environment. Threw everything at the wall hoping something would stick. What happened? They settled. Gave her 6 months severance and a neutral reference in exchange for dropping all claims. Cheaper than prolonged litigation. Think Horizon will settle? Depends on their legal team and how much they want to fight. But Jordan, here's what I learned. Even if they settle, even if you're completely vindicated, the experience changes you. You'll never trust workplace relationships the same way. You'll document everything obsessively. You'll see threats where there might be none. I already feel that starting. I stared at my apartment ceiling. It's the cost of this kind of battle. You win, but something gets damaged anyway. We talked for another 20 minutes. Brian shared strategies for rebuilding reputation, managing the emotional aftermath. When we hung up, I felt marginally better. At least I wasn't alone in this experience. Wednesday afternoon, Vanessa's attorney sent a formal demand letter to Horizon Tech. I only knew because Eleanor called me. Jordan, can you come in tomorrow? We need your statement about specific incidents for our legal response. Thursday morning, I sat in a conference room with Eleanor and Horizon's corporate attorney, a woman named Patricia Foster. We went through everything again. Every false accusation, every piece of evidence, every conversation. Patricia recorded my statement, asked detailed questions. How did Vanessa's behavior make you feel? Anxious. Uncertain. Like I was constantly defending myself against invisible attacks. Did you ever confront her directly about the false accusations? I documented them but didn't confront her. I didn't want to escalate things. In retrospect, that might have been a mistake. Patricia shook her head. Actually, not confronting her directly shows you were trying to handle things professionally. It helps our case. After 3 hours, we finished. Patricia closed her laptop. Jordan, your documentation is excellent. Combined with the digital forensics on those altered emails, we have a strong defense. Vanessa's case is weak. But I need you to prepare for this to drag out. These cases can take months. I'm ready. I just want it over. Understandable. Try to focus on your regular work. Let us handle the legal aspects. Easier said than done, but I nodded. That weekend, Tyler convinced me to take a break from everything. We drove up to Prescott, hiked Thumb Butte, ate at local restaurants. For 2 days, I barely thought about Vanessa or lawsuits or workplace politics. Just mountains and fresh air and normal conversation. The following week, something unexpected happened. A former colleague from Westfield Industries, Vanessa's previous employer before Pinnacle, contacted me through LinkedIn. My name is Gary. I heard through connections that you dealt with Vanessa Crawford. I worked with her at Westfield. Thought you should know she tried the same thing there. We talked on the phone that evening. Gary explained that Vanessa had targeted a woman named Rebecca at Westfield. Same pattern, undermining, false accusations, fabricated evidence. But Rebecca caught her early. Recorded a conversation where Vanessa admitted to lying about a project deadline. Confronted management with the recording. Vanessa was fired within a week. Do you still have contact with Rebecca? Gary gave me her email. She might be willing to talk. Might help your company's legal case if they can show this is a pattern of behavior across multiple employers. I contacted Rebecca immediately. She responded the next day and agreed to speak with Patricia Foster. 2 days later, Patricia called me. Jordan, this Rebecca Torres contact is gold. She's willing to provide a statement and evidence from Westfield. Combined with Stephanie's information from Pinnacle, we can establish a clear pattern. This isn't workplace conflict. It's calculated professional sabotage across multiple companies. Will that end Vanessa's lawsuit? It should. Her attorney would be foolish to proceed once they see this evidence. We're sending them everything tomorrow. Friday afternoon, 3 weeks after my suspension began, Patricia called with news. Vanessa's attorney contacted us this morning. They're withdrawing all claims. No settlement, no admission of wrongdoing from Horizon Tech. She's dropping everything. Relief flooded through me. It's really over? Legalese. She signed a release waiving all future claims. In exchange, Horizon agreed not to pursue counterclaims for the costs of investigation and legal defense. Mr. Parker wanted to go after her, but we advised letting it end cleanly. I understand. Thank you, Patricia. Thank yourself. Your documentation made this case easy to defend. Without that, this could have gone very differently. After we hung up, I sat at my desk and breathed. Actually over. Vanessa was gone. The legal threat was gone. I could rebuild my career without that shadow. That evening, the department had an informal gathering at a bar downtown. Mr. Parker bought the first round. To Jordan, he said, raising his glass. For professionalism under pressure and teaching all of us the value of good documentation. Everyone laughed, drank. The mood was light. But I noticed some colleagues were missing. The ones who'd believed Vanessa's initial accusations, who'd avoided me during the investigation. Some bridges stayed burned. Tyler met me after the work gathering. So, hero, how does victory feel? Complicated. I'm glad it's over, glad I was vindicated. But I keep thinking about what Brian said. This changes you. Monday morning, for weeks after suspension, I started a new project. Major client, 6-month timeline, significant revenue for the company. Mr. Parker gave me lead coordinator role specifically to re-establish my position and reputation. Jordan, I want you visible on this. I want clients and colleagues seeing you succeed. Erasing any remaining doubt. I appreciate the confidence. You've earned it. And Jordan, if you ever feel uncomfortable or see similar patterns with another colleague, come to me immediately. Don't wait. Don't just document. We could have handled this faster if you'd raised concerns earlier. He was right. I'd been so focused on building evidence that I'd let the situation escalate unnecessarily. Lesson learned. The project kicked off smoothly. Client was responsive, timeline was reasonable, team was strong. Normal work felt almost strange after weeks of crisis management. But I caught myself documenting everything obsessively. Every email saved. Every conversation summarized. Every deadline noted with excessive detail. Brian's warning about permanent changes to behavior. I was living it. Tyler noticed during lunch Tuesday. You're different. More guarded. I'm just being careful. You're being paranoid. There's a difference. Maybe. But paranoia kept me employed. Hard to argue with results. He didn't push back. Just reminded me that not everyone was Vanessa. Most colleagues were genuine, trustworthy, normal. I had to remember that. 6 weeks after the crisis ended, Horizon Tech hired a new senior coordinator. His name was Owen. Mid-30s, experienced, came with excellent references. Mr. Parker introduced him at the team meeting. Owen will be working on the Cascade account primarily. Jordan, I'd like you to help him get oriented. Of course. Over the following weeks, I worked with Owen regularly. He was competent, professional, asked good questions. Normal colleague. But I found myself watching him carefully, analyzing his interactions, looking for patterns that might indicate another Vanessa situation. Tyler called me out one evening after I'd spent an hour analyzing an innocent email Owen had sent. Jordan, you're spiraling. Owen made a simple scheduling suggestion. You're treating it like a calculated manipulation. Am I? Yeah. And it's not healthy. Look, what Vanessa did was terrible. But you can't let her turn you into someone who suspects everyone. You'll destroy your career yourself if you keep this up. His words hit hard because they were true. I was letting Vanessa's betrayal poison every professional relationship. That wasn't victory. That was letting her win differently. I need to work on this, I admitted. Maybe talk to someone? Therapy? Tyler suggested gently. Yeah. Maybe. The idea felt like admitting defeat, but I knew he was right. The psychological damage needed addressing or it would undermine everything I'd fought to preserve. I started seeing a therapist named Dr. Kim in November. Told her everything about Vanessa, the investigation, the aftermath. She listened without judgment. What you experienced is a form of workplace trauma, she explained. Someone systematically tried to destroy your professional life. That creates lasting impact. Your hypervigilance is a normal response to abnormal circumstances. How do I move past it? You don't move past it. You integrate it. Learn to trust again while maintaining healthy boundaries. Your documentation instincts saved your career, Jordan. Don't abandon them. Just calibrate them appropriately. We worked on strategies for distinguishing real threats from normal workplace dynamics. How to maintain professional caution without paranoia. How to rebuild trust gradually. The process was slower than I wanted, but I felt incremental improvement. By December, 4 months after Vanessa's firing, I could work with Owen without analyzing his every word. Could accept Mr. Parker's feedback without wondering if he secretly doubted me. Could participate in team meetings without mentally recording everything for potential evidence. Small victories, but they mattered. The project I'd been leading concluded successfully in January. Client was thrilled, sent a formal letter praising my coordination and professionalism. Mr. Parker shared it with the entire department. This is the Jordan we know, he said. Excellent work. That evening, Tyler and I celebrated. 7 months, he said over drinks. From suspension to success. How does it feel? Like I survived something. Not won, exactly. Just survived. That's enough sometimes. In February, 9 months after the crisis, I received a LinkedIn message from someone I didn't know. Jordan, my name is Marcus. I'm currently dealing with a situation similar to what you experienced with Vanessa Crawford. A colleague is trying to get me fired with false accusations. I found your story through mutual connections. Would you be willing to talk? I stared at the message. Part of me wanted to ignore it, avoid reliving that experience. But I remembered how helpful Stephanie, Brian, and Rebecca had been when I'd reached out. I called Marcus that evening. Listened to his story. Different company, different details, same basic pattern. Colleague undermining him systematically, building false narrative. What should I do? He sounded defeated. Document everything. Every email, every conversation, every project milestone. Build your evidence file now, before things escalate. And don't wait to involve management. I waited too long. Get ahead of it. He thanked me profusely. Over the following weeks, I walked him through the process. How to organize documentation. How to present evidence. When to involve HR. How to protect yourself legally. 3 months later, Marcus contacted me again. It worked. They investigated, found the lies, fired my colleague. I'm cleared. Thank you for helping me. Relief and satisfaction mixed together. Something good coming from my nightmare experience. Helping others avoid or survive similar situations. Maybe that was the point. Not just surviving, but using that survival to help others. Today, 1 year after Vanessa's firing, I sat at my desk and reflected. My career had survived. I'd been promoted to senior project manager last month. Mr. Parker's confidence in me had been rebuilt completely. Clients specifically requested me for their accounts. My reputation was solid. But I was different. More cautious. More aware. I documented everything still, though not obsessively. Just professionally careful. I trusted colleagues again, but that trust was earned gradually, not given freely. Dr. Kim called it healthy boundaries. Tyler called it wisdom. Maybe both were right. Vanessa's LinkedIn profile showed she'd found another job at a company in California. Part of me wanted to warn them, but Patricia had advised against it. Legal complications. So I stayed silent and hoped someone there would catch her early if she tried the pattern again. The experience had taught me that workplaces aren't families. They're professional environments where people pursue careers, and sometimes those pursuits involve stepping on others. Naive to think otherwise. But it also taught me that documentation, truth, and persistence matter. That justice sometimes works. That fighting back strategically can succeed. My phone buzzed. Email from Mr. Parker. Jordan, major new client coming in. Want you to lead the pitch. This could be significant for your career trajectory. Interested? I smiled and typed back. Absolutely. I'm ready.